Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. So today I want to talk about one very simple tip that you can start implementing to help you lose body fat. So I started using this strategy about 2 years ago, and it was a game changer for me. It really was. So before I get into this, if you're enjoying the content that I'm providing you, please give this a like and subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe, if you hit the notification bell, you will get reminders of when my next videos are coming up. So that would be much appreciated. Now, when it comes to losing body fat, there's so many different strategies that we can use. And for a long time, I was using the strategies that I knew that worked for me, but I was often closed to other methods out there because maybe I was just stuck in my own ways and I knew what worked for me and for my clients. But as you get older, you start to get a little bit wise and start to experiment a little bit with different strategies. And I suppose you don't get too strict with yourself, especially with myself. I stopped competing in bodybuilding, so I was being a bit more flexible with my approach, little bit flexible with my training and my nutrition. So what I started to do a couple of years ago was delaying my first meal. So I've always been this person that was eating every 3 hours, 6 meals a day. If I didn't eat, as soon as I got up, I was going to lose muscle. I had that bodybuilding kind of mentality. But a couple of years ago, I got to this stage where I wasn't hungry in the morning. And instead of forcing the food down, I just didn't eat. So I'm basically delaying the first meal. And I started to just eat when I was hungry. And I ended up eating my first meal around 11 o'clock. 10, 11 o'clock, depending on what time I got up. So I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That meant 4 to 5 hours fasted, not eating before I ate my first meal. And what I found was that it allowed me to have so many more calories and more meals throughout the rest of the day, which meant more food, obviously, and it felt easier to stay within my calorie target. And why is this such a big thing? Because, if you think about it, it's only like one, maybe possibly 2 meals that you're delaying. When it comes to losing body fat, we know that it's all about our calorie intake and our calories that we're burning. So if you are delaying that first meal and you're having more calories from, say, 11 o'clock until 7, 8 o'clock at night, it's a shorter eating period, which means that it's going to be a lot harder to get more food in a shorter space of time. That very simple tip helped me massively because it made it so much more easier for me to hit my calorie target. I wasn't as hungry. I had bigger meals in the evening, which most people do want. And I was waking up in the morning and not rushing to get my first meal. I was getting up in the morning, I was relaxing a little bit, I was enjoying my coffee. And when you have a coffee on an empty stomach, it hits you a bit harder, which is also nicer. And I didn't have to worry about making breakfast. I just waited until I was hungry. And sometimes, I'm not saying I was eating at 11 o'clock all the time. Sometimes I was eating a little bit earlier. But what I didn't do is rush to have breakfast. And this is something that a lot of people do, is that they think that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And as soon as you get up, you have to eat it because that breakfast meal is going to spike your metabolism. But that is further from the truth. It really is. It really comes down to how many calories that you consume in a day. So you don't have to get up and eat breakfast first thing if you don't feel like it. If you are someone that loves breakfast and wants to wake up and eat straight away, then that works as well. But what helps me was it allowed me to have more food for the rest of the day. And I like to have a big evening meal. And most people do. That's where we eat most of our calories in the evening, because we might associate that with sitting back after a long day at work, watching a movie, might be having a meal with your family, might be going out to a restaurant. You're going to have more calories in the evening. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're having a lot of calories in the morning, pancakes, eggs on toast, which can be high in calories, then it gives you less calories throughout the day. So maybe implement that into your diet plan and see how it works for you. But for me, it worked massively, and I still do it to this day. I make sure that I'm not rushing to have breakfast. Some days I might wake up and feel ravenous. This is going to depend on what you eat the night before as well. So be aware of that. If you have a big meal in the evening, you don't really feel like you want a lot of calories in the morning. But if you haven't eaten a lot in the evening, you might wake up feeling hungry. So have your breakfast. It doesn't have to be a big breakfast though. But for me, it helps because, again, it allows me to have a lot of calories in the evening, and I'm not rushing around trying to make breakfast in the morning. I get my work done, I have my coffee, which I've actually got right there, and you know, I'll have my breakfast in good time. I don't actually call it breakfast, I call it meal one. So try that out for yourself. Remember, when it comes to losing body fat, it's that calorie deficit that we're aiming for. So as long as you're hitting your calorie target for the day, it doesn't matter whether you have breakfast, whether you have your meal at 12 o'clock, it doesn't matter. But don't feel that you have to wake up and have breakfast because people say it's the most important meal of the day. It's quite frankly not. So I hope that was helpful, guys. I'll see you in the next video.